Hey everybody, it's John from Denarii Games. We're doing another Devlog update. This week we continue to work on the building system and added in buildable floors, which are, of course, foundation, but we're placing them automatically as we're doing with the rest of our modifications to the MMORPG Kit. We also did some rethinking on signs and how you purchase buildings. So let's show that off. We'll start, of course, with a clean database, as always. Come back to the game. We're going to save the building. One of the things that is really interesting about the approach, I think, is that we're basically taking 3 passes on generating the floor. So the first floor we see in red here is static. It's a non-buildable area. So it's okay to generate, of course, in the editor, and we place it and it becomes part of the scene, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the database. So this is the stuff that gets automatically generated. This one right here is the floor, and you'll notice that on the second pass, when we save all of the building entities automatically into the table, we're storing in data about the floor and the floor visibility. So I'm not going to totally decode this, but you can kind of see that we've got a matrix, a multidimensional array, and 1 means on, 0 means off. So in this case, the first and the second tile in the first row is on, and the first and the second tile in the second row is on, and the rest of them are not, because what we're doing is generating actually a 5 by 5 grid of possible tiles in that prefab. If we look at the prefab, we can see those tiles here, right? So this is what we're actually saving, this particular building entity. I created a brand new entity called a floor entity to pull this off. And as I said, it's a grid of 5 by 5 tiles with the visibility for these tiles saved at the time of creation. That is, when you save it inside the editor. Let's do a quick build. All right, so we're in the game, and so now we can see the third pass of the floor building. So let me actually jump out of here real fast. So you can see only the tiles that are supposed to be visible are visible. So this third pass, we're syncing up that data that's coming from the extra data, and now the client is responsible for disabling those extra tiles. Remember, it was a 5 by 5 grid, so it would extend way over here and way back, but we only need some of them for this particular building shape. So what we now have is dynamically generated floors based on the building shape, and only the part that needs to be generated is generated and saved. So that's the first part we did, was working on the floors. The other thing we did was rethought how we do the buildings. So last video you saw everything was driven off the door. I kind of liked it, but in this case I really think the sign is more appropriate. Did some thinking about it. Checking every single door to see if something is for sale or for rent would be pretty cumbersome. So we're absolutely going to go with the sign approach. So you can see the sign here is for sale. I can interact with the sign. It is its own entity now. And just like we saw before, it's going to go through the logic and figure out, if I have enough gold. So let's solve that. And now I can buy the building like before. So now I own this building. I can place things in it. And one of the cool things I did was I can update the sign. So if I click on the sign, I can now set the sign text. So let's do something fun. So there we go, we have dynamic sign tech. Let's open up a second client and take a look. And I can change that again. And it updates right away for both this player that originated and, of course, player number 2 sees the same thing. Cool. So let's now go play some things inside of that floor. Got some new items here. We've got a shop counter and a table, vial stand, and I think I'm going to make this thing into an alchemist. So let's change that real fast. Something like that. Now I can go into my shop and start to configure it. So first thing we'll do is put the counter here. Take that something like that. And we'll put the workbench. Like that. And we'll put the vial stand. Something like that. So now I've got a reasonable looking alchemy shop, and the workbench is in there, and we're open for business. So that's it for this week. Have a good one.